All right, let's get this week started. Hey, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you. Good to see you with us on the road, or I should say the Road Beyond podcast, as you see behind me. The Road Beyond, we're highlighting this episode because that's our paranormal podcast. I do it here for HCCTV, but you're watching Up to the Minute, and it's our holiday edition for Halloween. I've got a special spooky co-host, Dr. Nicholas Cox. And Nick, are you dressing up tonight for Halloween?
No, I don't think so. Most of the Halloween stuff that my family had was done on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, well, you got to dress up again. At least entertain us. Did you dress up over the weekend?
No, I spent Saturday at a marching band contest and Sunday at a family birthday dinner.
Okay. All right. We'll give you a pass for that. But you still have time to get a Halloween costume in.
That's
for
right.
You can do that tonight if you wish. We want to thank all of you for watching us on Up to the Minute. We're here every morning when HCC is in session, usually 10 a.m. in the morning, just about every weekday. And Nick, they can also catch us on Facebook Live, YouTube, all of social media, and on HCCTV.
That's right. That's right. We're also on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All right. Stick around, Nick, because you're going to be interviewing this next guest, Dr. Sujeeta Menon. She is with Change Happens. And Dr. Menon, you have a number of titles there, but you're the Director of Youth Justice Programs, Voices, and Youth Can Mentoring, and Youth and Justice as well. You got a lot of titles there.
Hi, everyone. Firstly, thank you for having me on this show. I am just appreciative of the opportunity to come and present and talk about everything that Change Happens is doing. No, I do not have many titles. I have just one title, but many programs. And I
many
think
programs. All right.
Really very interconnected. And so that's kind of why we consolidate and integrate all our programs together.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to hearing all about Change Happens and what exactly you guys do. So stick around. We'll be with you in about 10 minutes.
Thank you. I'll be there.
All right, so we're going to kick things off. It is Halloween, and we've got a special guest for you. Brian Treybig is the manager of Beardsley's Ghost Tours of Galveston Island, famous institution down there. Been doing ghost tours for years. And Brian, it's good to have you on the show. Thank you for being here.
It's wonderful to be here. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, so big night for you guys tonight. I imagine this past weekend was a big weekend. You must send my best wishes to Dash. He'll remember the show I'm promoting behind me, the Road Beyond podcast. Originally, it was a TV pilot. We shot it with Dash. I believe it was back in 2003 on Galveston Island. He played a big role in the show, and I wish him the best. So make sure you send him our best wishes.
I will, and whatever he's doing, it's always a big role. He's a big guy.
Yeah, he's bigger than life. You know. Now, tell us. I know this tour has been a big deal for him, and let's begin with the man in legend. Who is Beardsley? For those who don't know, and how did this tour begin?
Oh my goodness, Beardsley. He's a man of many talents. You know, he's a musician. He's been a paranormal enthusiast for many, many years throughout his entire life. And he's always been drawn to Galveston. And one day he was there back in 1997, and he just laid down on the street at 3 a.m, right in front of the Railroad Museum, and just let the spirits talk to him. And he felt like he needed to tell these spirits stories. So he thought about writing a book. And then he said, no, I need people to be here and experience it themselves. And so he went to every single building on the Strand and immediately got like 20, 30 stories. And so he built this tour, the original Strand tour, but he had so many more stories left over. He created the Restless Spirits tour and so on. And so Dash has been doing this since 1998, and he's hired tour guides, and I've been with him for over 12 years. And what we do is we talk about the history of the island and the ghostly tales that were shared with us. And I got to tell you, even this weekend, I walk down the Strand, I go into a shop. You got anything new for me? Brand new stuff all the time.
Yeah, you know, it amazes me that there's so much history in Galveston. You know, it goes back to Native Americans. You've had pirates. We've had the Civil War. And, you know, the spirits still linger there. You have impressions maybe, or active spirits on the island. One of, doing the Road Beyond podcast, one of the things I've noticed when talking with guests about paranormal activity, it seems to be heightened near bodies of water, especially port cities. Do you believe in that as well?
Absolutely. I believe it's an elemental thing. We create these complications with our reality when in seriousness, it's a very simple dimension. We live in this three-dimensional world with fourth dimensional time. Everything's in threes, 1, 2, 3. We're always it's a very simple reality. We have to just remember that. We overcomplicate it. And I believe because of the water, it's one of the elements that it just seems natural, something that feels good to be around, that seems comfortable. And I believe that's why the spirits are drawn to it. It just seems like a natural thing. I mean, even from in the womb, in your mom, just, you're surrounded by water. It feels comfortable.
Right. Let me ask you this too, because this always fascinates me, because I've had many guests on the Road Beyond podcast that have talked about seeing spirits themselves. I mean, I've certainly seen something, especially over the last few months. I'm a recent widower. But have you seen ghosts? And when your guests have seen them, how do they present themselves? Because I hear different things. It looks like just like a real person, or it's a partial image or a person, or it's a mist. I've had a certain experience. What would be yours?
My experience has always been the psychic element. They come to me and drain me and give me visions and give me names and try to guide me to help them, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to help them. And there's what we call 5 stages of energy that spirits will take on. And how do they take on these potentials? Well, they gain potential by taking energy from us. And we believe the first stage of energy is a cold spot. A lot of people just feel that going into a haunted spot. The second stage of energy is an orb or a ball of light. A lot of people catch those on their cameras, but you got to watch it. As a scientist, you got to be careful. It could be a water droplet, an insect going by. You got to just use your own judgment. Some have seen faces in orbs. The third stage of energy is a vortex. This is where it's gained a little more potential. And you can see this vortex of energy come up, trying to shape itself. And then after that, we get ectoplasmic mist. And this is where they're trying to branch out like a tree and try to shape. Not so much an apparition yet, but you could almost see the silhouette of a spirit. Right. Then we see the 5th stage, which is an apparition, where they have gained so much potential. You can see them, but you can see right through them. But a lot of people have taken photos on our tours and captured a lot of these. We've got a couple of minutes left, a few minutes, but I want to get a couple of stories in. The one of them, very famous, the face on UTMB. Real quickly, we're going to show an image of that, but what's that all about? A lot of people wonder why that face is even there. Well, the curiosity came when the face first appeared on the very top tile of the building, and then they painted over the face because too many people were hanging around it. Then the face moved down. Not only did it move down, it looks exactly like the same face. So they sandblasted it. Amazing. They went to that much trouble. Right. And then more and more people see this face. Then it moves down again. And then for the final time, because that's when they put a barbed wire fence around the area. And rightly so. People have died trying to look at this face. And a lot of people wonder who the face even belongs to. Some say it's the pirate Jean Lafitte, but I don't think so. We believe it's the man who owned the property prior to the hospital being built and did not want to sell that property. And he was cursing the people around it.
Galveston Island. It's amazing. If you haven't seen this, we had been showing the picture of it. It's an amazing story. Real quickly, a lot of energy left in Galveston over one of the most tragic things to happen in the history of this country, which was the 1900 storm.
Yes. It was a very horrific event. This island has seen its share of death. This 1900 storm killed many, many people who were not expecting this storm to show up. They thought the storm was headed, making a right turn at the Florida Peninsula. And it was a very horrific event. After the fact, over 6,000 people perished. And what do you do with them? Well, they decided to bury them in the water. Well, 3 days later, bodies started washing back up.
Unbelievable.
And so they had to figure out something else, and they decided to burn them. Well, you can't burn them now. They're waterlogged.
Yeah.
So they went downtown and made each building a makeshift morgue. And then they had funeral fires everywhere. Thousands of bodies burning everywhere on this island. And people ask, what's the most haunted spot? The island.
Yeah.
The island is haunted. You're walking on graves.
There are some incredible stories in Galveston, Texas. And you guys, your tours are available. How can people find you, and when are the tours available? On weekends? How's that go?
It's year round, Tuesday through Saturday. You just go to Beardsley's Ghost Tours of GalvestonIsland.com. Make sure it's Beardsley's. We've been around since '98, and a lot of other tour companies have popped up and taken some of our stories, unfortunately. We won't name any of those names. But and if you've taken all of our tours, take those tours. That's totally fine. But we have 4 tours in operation now. We have the 2 strand tours, a cemetery tour, and a boat tour. That is called a book because of the cooler weather coming, the lower tides. And so sometimes we can't operate that. But we always have a tour available. And if you have a party of 10 or 15 who just want to spontaneously join us, give me a call. I'll hook you up.
Brian, we appreciate you being here. I want to get you on the Road Beyond podcast soon, okay?
I would love to be on.
All right, Brian, you tell Dash, send him our best. And Brian Treybig, he is the manager of Dash Beardsley's Ghost Tours of Galveston Island. We're going to have all their information in our social media post after the show. Thank you, Brian. We wish you the best.
Thank you, Ted.
All right, Nick, we're going to turn things over to you with another special guest.
Good morning, Dr. Menon. Welcome to the show. I hope as we talk about the programs that you supervise, we can bring some light to the spooky day that we're celebrating today. So you are the program director at Change Happens, and you are in charge of several programs, including the youth justice programs, Voices, Youth Can, the Youth Justice Fund. Welcome to the show. Before we get into some of your events and a recent grant you received, let's begin with an explanation of Change Happens and its mission.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting us to this show, Nicholas. We are really privileged to be able to share the programs that we have and, our mission and vision in impacting this community. So Change Happens was started in 1989. We started with 1 program, and we have over 25 programs now with over 80 staff who are working these programs, ranging from really what I would say cradle to the grave, and we serve everyone and anyone in the community with multiple and different needs. And so the programs that I manage are related to young people, and some of them are in disadvantaged situations, marginalized situations, such as involvement with the courts and the justice system, some who, may have multiple adverse childhood experiences, and just a lot of the population type and the subpopulation that we work with is a very unique population that we are seeking to address, just some of the different risk factors and just the lack of opportunities and services that may be available for them. And so the programs that I direct are Voices. Voices is a gender-specific program for young women who are involved in the justice system or at risk of being involved. We work a lot with the Harris County Juvenile Probation Department and some schools in the Houston Independent School District to be able to provide some of these gender-specific groups as well as wraparound case management to these young women. It's a very special population in my heart, just knowing that young women have so much to offer and give, and, providing these supports to them would help them thrive and succeed in society. At the same time, we have a male version of that, and we have the Youth Can program standing for Youth Create a New Beginning. And that program seeks to serve young men, boys who are coming out of the juvenile residential facilities and need a lot of re-entry support. And that's also a wraparound case management program for 6 to 12 months, similar to Voices, that works on all the needs that they and their family have. And so we stick around for about 6 to 12 months because we believe like that's when it really takes to turn the corner, and that we want to provide as much support as we can in that very critical stage and period of their lives. So then that is those are the two programs where we work with the justice involved population. We have a mentoring program, and mentoring programs have been around for a very long time. I want to say almost 20 years at Change Happens. And at this point, we have 3 of those programs. One is a program that is called the My Brother's Keeper, Each One of Us program. And that program serves young boys of color at Jack Yates High School. And Jack Yates High School is right in our community. And so that's also a really special population that we have the privilege of serving. We match these young men. We have about 100 young men to pro-social adults in the community and have them become mentors to these boys, which is a pitch to everybody. If you're interested to mentor a young person, please let me know, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. Great. Because that is a very critical service area with the gap and the need, because we believe that the community has a huge role to play in mentoring a young person. At the same time, we also have youth can mentoring, and that youth can mentoring.
Dr. Menon, let me ask you a question there. You mentioned this program at Jack Yates High School. We wanted to ask you to talk a little bit about the Hogg Foundation grant that you received to work at Jack Yates High School.
Absolutely, Nicholas. Thanks for asking that question. And so with the Each One of Us program, we identified that one of the needs that the program has is that these young men really require a lot of mental health support. And so we actually was awarded a Hogg Foundation grant just this year, which allows us to engage a contracted person who is a licensed mental health provider, so a licensed social worker who is able to provide mental health intervention to these young boys for 3 months at each time. So 3 months intensive mental health support for about 25 boys a year. So that's in 2 years, we get to serve about 50 boys with mental health support. And this was a very innovative approach to addressing mental health in our community, especially since we wanted to remove all barriers that are there, to avoid any possible, barrier for them to receive mental health support. And so this person is mobile, and they go to the boys and work with them and their families to provide the mental health intervention as required and needed.
Great. Well, let me ask you a question about the recent mental health screening that you conducted on October 12th to spread awareness of youth mental health in the area.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. And so, this is the only spooky thing that I can tell you about today. All right. So that is 1 out of 5 youth are diagnosed with a mental health disorder. And if that's not spooky enough for you, I'm not sure what is, because that's scary, really scary to me. That so many of our young people struggle with mental health, and there's so much the lack of knowledge and awareness of what can we do about that. And so recently Change Happens actually conducted a citywide kind of mental health documentary screening at Match Theater on October 12th. It was known as Connecting the Dots. And it was a documentary screening of many young people who had shared their experiences with their own mental health, and was very open and transparent about what they had been feeling inside of them. And so that was the first time we kind of actually got to hear from the actual voices of the young people around the globe, and really bring awareness to youth mental health. And so when we had this, we also invited a esteemed panel of 5 different speakers. Wonderful people from Houston who have experience working and managing mental health programs in the city. And so they had spoken a lot about what the gaps in services are, the needs that are there, like how can we ensure that we have culturally relevant practices for our young people. And what else can we do, right? So everyone just took a pledge at the end, to say that I pledge to be that caring person. I pledge to be the one that helps to enhance, a young person's mental health and help them grow and thrive in these communities. And so I think it takes a village to raise a child. And in this respect, the community is there gathered together to help address this big growing issue.
Okay, well, we just have a minute or 2 left, but I'd like to ask you to describe how Change Happens works with social work interns.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I'm a social work field instructor, and we have a big social work program here where we work with about 10 over universities. And in these universities, when they have the Bachelor's of Social Work programs and Master's of Social Work programs, they need to do a field placement of X number of hours, 200, 250, 300 hours a semester. And so what we do is that we have these interns attached to the program of their choice, and it's an intern-led kind of program where they can choose to any program at Change Happens to be with us for as many hours as they need to fulfill those hours. Then they function like an employee. They provide the services as we do as well to offer as much support as possible to the population that they seek to serve.
Well, excellent. Thank you very much, Dr. Sujeeta Menon, Program Director of Youth Mentoring, Youth Justice, Voices, and Youth CAN programs at Change Happens. We'll have more info in our post after the show about Change Happens. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicholas, and everyone else for having me here today. Have a good week.
All right. Thank you both. And we've got a few announcements to go through. One of them, very important for our students. You can change students' lives by simply making a donation. It's very easy. It'll come out of your paycheck. And if you're an employee of HCC, today is the day. The 2022 HCC Faculty and Staff Campaign closes today. So there's still time to make a gift to provide financial assistance for a student's success. Remember, a gift of $10 per pay period will help for a class for a student, but all gifts make a difference for students facing financial challenges. We'll have a link in our social media post after the show, Nick.
Yep. Thank you, Todd. And I'll just say, back in Hurricane Harvey hit in 2017, I set up my contribution, and I just don't think about it. It's a great way to just give a little bit back to the college to help students with emergency funds or with tuition and scholarships. Tomorrow also is the deadline for the Chancellor's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Excellence Award. So there's just one more day to think of who you believe deserves the Chancellor's Excellence Award for DEI. The award winner receives $5,000 cash award per individual, or $500 per team if it is a team nomination. And they will have a nice dinner with the Chancellor and the DEI officer, Donna Davis. So the deadline to nominate is Tuesday, November 1st. Check our post after the show for the link for more details.
Okay, and there's a faculty exhibit going on now. It closes Friday. Adjunct Angel Castellan's exhibition, Self-Fragmentation, which captures his own identity through self-portraiture and imagery of everyday life. That ends on Friday, November the 4th. You want to check it out, get out to the HCC Northwest Spring Branch Gallery, see the exhibition. And our DEI officer, as you mentioned before, she has a development training course that's available online.
That's right. DEI, again, Dr. Donna Davis is hosting a second annual WebEx Professional Development Training and Certificate Program series with morning and afternoon sessions. The title for both is Anti-Racism, a Cross-Cultural Dialogue. There's a morning session at 10:30 a.m. on Monday, November 15th, and an afternoon session at 2:30 p.m. on Monday, May 16th. We'll have the post for more information and the registration form after the show. I'll just add that about once a month, I work my way through this series of events, and I found them to be a really great place to talk to colleagues about the diversity, equity, and inclusion issues at this campus across different categories, whether it is anti-racism or generation gaps or concerns about, just anything that you might think of comes up in these discussions. And they're incredibly fruitful and very great spaces to discuss DEI.
That's right. So make sure you check them out. We'll have a link in our post after the show and how you can register. Reading Culture Scholarship Contest, it's happening. Students looking for a chance to win a scholarship while learning about a new culture can check out Ecuador in the Inheritance of Orquídea Divina. 3 scholarships are available. The grand prize is $1,000. Outstanding essay, $500, and outstanding project, $500. A lot of cash up for grabs. The projects are due November the 28th, and we'll have a link in our post after the show and have more details. If you want to register for classes, Nick, your time is running out because we've got to get the same number of hours in. There's a limited time, but you can get some hours in before the fall semester is over.
That's right. And even though the fall semester is quickly coming to a close, and there may be a handful of 4, 5, or 6 week sessions still available depending on the program, spring enrollment is going to open right around the corner. I think that priority registration opens tomorrow and general enrollment next Tuesday. So if you can't get into a fall class, you can certainly begin enrolling this week or next week in spring classes. The first session of the spring term, the winter mini, starts in December, so that's not too far away at all.
Nope.
We continue, of course, to offer classes in every modality. We have the online anytime classes that have no established class meeting times. We have the online on a schedule where students can meet at a specific time online. We have hybrid classes that meet partly in person and partly online. And of course, we're offering the traditional in-person classes as well. So for registration to any and all HCC programs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
Okay, tomorrow, Nick, you're returning with a special guest, right?
That's right. Tomorrow, we'll be talking to Christine Ha, the Master Chef winner, chef who operates the Blind Goat restaurant here in Houston and is opening a new restaurant in Spring Branch. I'll also say that Christine and I went to grad school together, so I invited her to come on Tasty Tuesday to talk a little bit about her experiences.
Yeah, so we look forward to having you. In fact, you're going to be here tomorrow. We've got another co-host. Yeah, I'm off the rest of the week. I'm going out of town Wednesday, so I'll be out of here. Happy Halloween to all of you. We've got a packed week ahead. Later in the week, we'll hear about the Google Arts and Culture website and how our fashion archive is on that as well. You'll hear more about that. And we've got a lot of special guests heading into the week. Nick, thanks for being here. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you. Enjoy your time off.
Thank you very much. And all of you, happy Halloween. Stay safe. I'll see you next week. Up to the Minute returns tomorrow live, 10 a.m.